What's going on, civilian Jeeps? This is Jake here, and today we're going to be going over rust. More specifically, I'm going to be going over the rust in this 97 Jeep Wrangler TJ SE model. Now, you don't always have to be TJs where these places are going to come up, but you'll see that other old Jeeps will also rust in these areas. So this is going to be an overall, but this is specifically for the Jeep Wrangler TJ. You know, if you're wanting to see if you got a good deal on yours that you've already bought, or if you're going to buy one. Now, you want to have two things. You want to have a mat, because you're going to want to lay on this mat to get on the ground, get up under the Jeep where the frame's at. And you're going to want also get a screwdriver, because you're going to want to prod around, feel, ping, listen for different sounds, which I'm about to show you. But without any more, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So when you're starting to look at the Jeep, come down here. It's probably one of the worst areas that I know about. It's down here by the rear control arm mount for the upper. Well, the upper's up here on the other side, and then you got the lower. And you know, this one's pretty bad, and you can see it's been repaired before. Somebody tried to cover it up. This little block, oh, it just fell off. So yeah, you can see just how bad this is. They do make patch kits, which I have purchased. Now look at the other side over here. I mean, it is just absolutely horrendous how bad these rust out. Now let me show you the other side, and this is on the other side. As you can see, there's still a lot of rust. This is not good. Now the reason that they rust out right here is because Jeep didn't put a drain hole right here in the bottom of the frame. There's nothing to actually let the water escape, so over time the debris and just all the crap gets built up and it starts rusting from the inside out. So that's a very common area, definitely something you need to look for. But let's move on. All right, go to the back and look up under where the bumper area is, and you'll notice that there's usually a hole right there in these rusted out frames. I do have the patch kit for it as well. It just comes down and then boxes it back in and then closes it. But I'm gonna take this trailer hitch off, which I plan on doing anyway. I mean, the bolt ain't even in it anymore. The third place is right here where the transmission transfer case again. That's right here where it mounts. There's little rivet or nutserts in there, and they will actually rust out and make it so these bolts here won't come out. They'll just sit there and spin inside the frame if it's real rusted out. But this one's not that bad, surprisingly. But I've seen them when they're rusted all the way through, and it's just a huge headache. And I mean, it could be very dangerous, just like all the other parts of the frame. But you want to get your screwdriver, and any part on the frame you're curious about, just peck. And you know, you hear that crisp metal on metal sound. You know, that's what you're wanting. What you don't want is when you get back here to some rust and it starts having that thud sound. That means that there's a rot in that area. Also, get your finger down in here and just try to feel out how much crap is in the frame. I mean, it should be smooth, and mine's got so much stuff in it. I mean, look at that. That's what you don't want. You want it to feel perfectly smooth, and just like the outside of the frame like this, you want it to be smooth. Now another area, come to the front of the Jeep. This one I've not been real familiar with, but I've been told that it's a bad spot for them to rust. This is the steering box, and this is steering box brace, and this right here apparently will rust off and rust in a bad manner. So kind of feeling around. That's the steering box itself right there, in case you're wondering. And yeah, supposedly that's another spot for them to rust, so you want to check that out. Now I'm back to the front where the control arm mounts are, and surprisingly I don't think these really rust out that bad. And you know, on this Jeep, as rusty as the frame is, the front half of the frame from like the rear mounts back there forward is actually pretty good. Like, I'm surprised. It's really not bad, but when you get back there to the rear part that I was showing you earlier, it's just absolutely terrible because Jeep didn't put the drain holes in. So, you know, just beat around, you know, scrape it if you want to, if you find an area that you're worried about. But don't be afraid to get down and dirty when you're looking for stuff like this. because ultimately this is your money that you're going to be spending on this, and you do not want to get screwed. Now, another real common area for rust on a TJ, kind of like body wise, would be right here on the fender. This isn't like detrimental by any means, but there's a support bracket under here, and that support bracket likes to rust out. So definitely look at the fenders, both sides. That fender is bad, but this fender is fine. Kind of going back under the Jeep, look for they're called the hat channels. It's where the body mounts mount to the tub. You can see here, this is where they mount to. And then this one is beginning to rust. You can see it, it's just crumbling off. Just not much to it. And then you get to this right here, and this one's completely gone. There's nothing even holding that in anymore. Which makes me think, I've not seen this Jeep without these rock rails on it, but another common area for rust is the corners down in here. And if I was just guessing, I would say this right here is shot. So, and the same goes for the other side. Now, the other side of this Jeep, when it comes to the hat channel body mount area, I think is fine. See, that's good. There's still good metal there going all the way up. And after you check that out, open the door and see the condition of the floor pan. You can see this one seems to be all right, but I think it's had some surface rust, and they're just rhino lined over the surface rust. Let me go behind this seat here, and I'll show you another common area. Sliding the passenger seat forward, this roll bar area right here, this is known to rust out. I got a little peephole in my floor here where you can see that I can go actually through the floor and come up. Oh, there's my finger, that's from the outside. Yeah, that shouldn't be like that. So that's another area for them to rust. And you know, just take a general look at the floor to see if there's anything you might see. But after that, come up here to the windshield. Look down the windshield frame, and this one's not bad, but a lot of times there'll be rust down in the windshield frame down through there. And you should be able to see it down in that crack and right along the actual windshield channel right here. Water will collect in there. This TJ is really not that bad, but I had a YJ that the windshield frame all the way down through there was just crunchy. I mean, it was just rust, and it was obvious rust as well. Now on the body, look back here under the tail light, this area in here, I don't know why, but even the seam right here, it'll somehow collect water, and you see a lot of TJs will rust right around this area, and even some up under here. Now lastly, just kind of look at your hinges. Your hinges will rust, and honestly the hinges aren't that big of a deal, but the hinges will rust. This one's honestly not that bad from the other Wranglers that I've seen. But just take a glimpse around the body, just do a once over and just kind of go around it, because usually people that are selling these are not going to divulge this information unless you specifically ask about rust, and sometimes they still don't divulge little spots. So I mean, these are all good areas that you really need to look for possible rust. Now you might see rust right here where this bumper is, but honestly, like this is what you consider surface rust. That's really not bad. There's still a lot of solid material there, and that's not bad at all. But you can see going down the frame here, and there's some rust right here on the sway bar. That's no big deal. Just kind of look all over the frame. Get up and under, get you a mat, go up and under the Jeep, and just absolutely go to town looking for any and everything that you possibly can. Look at the actual mounts for your control arms on the axles. A lot of the times these will break off if you're really going to four-wheel it hard. Check the general condition of the spring perch buckets back here. A lot of the times these will rust out, and I mean, I've seen some of them where they're almost coming off the frame. And also where it actually hits the actual axle down there. Well, that's all I have for you guys today on, you know, frame and body rust. If I've missed something that you know of that's a common area for these to rust out, please let me know in the comments below, because I'm sure other people might want to know as well. That's all I have for you guys today, and the next video I'll probably go over, you know, overall what you need to look for on these Jeeps. when you're going to purchase one. That's going to include the drive line, that's going to include everything we really talked about here, and this is going to be an overall video of like when you're going to buy a used Wrangler or CJ or whatever you're looking at, what you should look for. So look for that video to come, and you know, when it comes to Jeeps, keep it classy.